And talk about something related to power. So, if power is an area in your life where maybe you feel disconnected or there's a lot of like shadow around that for you, could be fear, it could be a sense that it's going to go into the negative. I just wanted to share a little bit of a story here. Been watching this like show about North Korea and the leaders and kind of how it came to be. And it just really hit me how much power seems to be, ooh, like in the shadow still. And, this is not a political conversation necessarily. It just really highlighted to me where we have been coming from and hopefully where we are going with each of us collectively connecting to our personal power, our agency, and so forth. And so they were talking about an incident. It's called the tree cutting incident. I believe it was in 1974. Ended up being that there was this tree kind of in like the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, where there was this giant poplar tree growing. And what happened was the Americans on the south side were like, well, we better go and, clear some of these branches off so we can see more clearly. So they sent some people to go and do what they needed to do with the tree. And during that time, I guess initially the North Koreans said, yes, it's fine to do it. And then later on, they showed up saying, actually, no. They believe that the tree had been planted by like the grandfather of whoever it is now. I can never remember which name's which. Sorry. Anyway, so there's this tree and these two sides fighting over whether or not they should cut some of the branches or not. And in the end, what happened was, I believe it was two Americans were killed. And this led to a whole conversation of, okay, well, now what do we do? Both sides wanting to prove their point, both sides wanting to show the world, show each other, show their people that they were in control, that they had the power. This very like toxic way in which we can try and tap into our power, try to tap into that energy, I guess, that sources inside of us. And so, what was, I guess, the brilliant brainchild of one of the commanders at the time was like, well, why don't we just go and cut the tree down? Which, I guess that's like a better choice than maybe like nuclear bombing the other side of of a country. So, this is where this concept, the Operation Paul Bunyan, which I just find is absolutely ridiculous to name. And it made me realize again how, like, here we are as humanity claiming land, sitting and like perching ourselves in certain areas of the world. And nature ends up being, kind of taking the brunt of our misuse of power, our insecurities, et cetera, et cetera. And what happened was the US military created this whole like thing, sent out like dozens of ships and dozens of aircraft and all this stuff just so that they could send a team without them getting hurt, obviously. That was the hope, and that's the reason to go and cut down this tree completely. And the North Koreans obviously just let it happen. And they did, I think, in the end, apologize for the deaths of the American soldiers earlier due to the incident at the tree and etc. It's just this reminder for us all, like wherever you are with your sense of personal power, like how much are you, engaging in the world where even nature or the world around you is suffering. And I think when we are stepping into the role as like a leader, if you're feeling called to like showing up in the world, and, we see examples of leaders across time that have abused power. People who, and this still happens, people even in like a client therapist relationship, however this works, people are abusing their place of power. And it's up to each of us to do our own healing work, to look at the shadows around power. What does it mean for you to hold power or have power? And where and how can you start to create this sense of like a new story with your relationship with power? And again, this whole experience, this learning of this situation, Operation Paul Bunyan, definitely a fascinating and comical sort of political story. It's like, how can we as individual humans on this planet now do our part so that the power is like in balance and does not impact the earth, that the earth, can have that tree growing. It was a beautiful poplar tree that then they just decided to completely tear down. And I'm not at all an expert in caring for the earth, I have my like flaws and enjoy the ease of whatever, eating out, skip the dishes, things like this. And yet we have to recognize, how can we reduce our waste, reduce our impact, et cetera, et cetera. And what if us doing this can actually lead to more power inside, because the earth wants to feed each of us, okay? And I say that, and it's like from an energetic perspective. So, hoping that each of you watching, each of you engaging with this conversation can learn that you have the ability to have a healthy connection and relationship with your power, and that you can lead from a place of balance, a place of compassion and empathy. And by doing the shadow work, healing your own wounds and realizing or understanding why you act the way you act, or think the way you think, or speak the way you speak, like that, by healing these pieces, or just at least like looking at them, then you're going to show up with more love and balance and connection with the world around you, including the earth. So just breathing that in here, an invitation. And however your relationship with power might be right now, maybe you've had parents or other people, caregivers, friends, partners, whatever it can look like, since you were young, even still now in your workplace environment. If you feel like you have this maybe disconnect from what power is, just the invitation here to just acknowledge that for yourself. We're going to call those guides, those angels, your ancestors, to support you with shifting that view, okay? Shifting the relationship with power, with your power. And any ways in which maybe power has been deemed negative, or you have like worked power in the dark, any past lives, ancestral connections, and even in this current lifetime, so karmically, anything that might be coming up here, we're just going to ask spirit to reveal that to you, to support you with reframing what needs to be reframed now. So whatever that needs to be for you. Hi, Melanie. Oh, thanks. And just trusting that your relationship with power, I'm going to invite you to connect to the heart space here. You can imagine a light, if you want, just kind of growing and vibrating in your chest, recognizing this power inside you. Like, you have a heart that can literally function and create electricity throughout your whole body. Okay. It moves. I guess that's your brain that does more of that, but like the heart's moving. your the blood, and it's moving and creating this like sense of like life. So just like the earth's heartbeat, you have this heartbeat internally for you, connecting to that, recognizing how that love and that power beating within you can also support you and others outside, awakening that connection for you now, this reconnection, really, because it's been there. So sometimes we like let, again, the shadow kind of cover it and we can't really see it. So whatever that is for you, just opening that space now. Thank you, Spirit. And now, if you were to imagine that light from your heart, the energy, like that electricity, just really like beaming out into the world, 360 degrees around you. And how and who is it touching now? Who is it impacting in a way that also supports them with connecting to their power and their truth? Thank you, Spirit. So, whatever your relationship is with power, and I'm going to say, I wanted to say their money, because money is power. There's a connection. Money is energy, power is energy, etc. These three kind of things are all linked. how can this whole presence of being with your power also lead to that abundant nature and money flowing, however it is? It's funny because I'm watching this show on like North Korea and just thinking about how everything is just about wanting to have control over something because we feel a lack of. Okay. And so this lack sense, whatever that is, knowing that with your heart emanating out the energy, that this is going to ultimately magnetize you to more opportunities, more supports, more resources, whatever that looks like for you. May those angels of abundance support you on that path. And when we can come from a place of balance and knowing that we don't necessarily need anything external from ourselves, so that continual infinity loop of sourcing energy from the heart, moving out into the cosmos, into the world, and back, that this is like an infinite source. With that, then it's like, then everything just keeps flowing. Everything is flowing. And this is what I think we're meant to remember and reconnect to constantly. So it's okay if you've moved away from it and maybe now you're coming back. That's fine. You may leave again and you may come back to it. This is just the flow. And thank you, Earth, for supporting each person here with connecting to this energy and to their personal power. Okay. Ooh, thank you, everyone. So let me know in the comments if you feel called, whatever it was that you are perceiving or reframing around power, and just trusting that you can start to live your life with power and that it's safe for you to do that, and that the universe and the world wants you to, and also care and nurture for the world around us. Like, it's all this beautiful interplaying kind of relationship. So sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Check out the April monthly energy update. There's intuitive reading there. It's on the channel page. And until the next time, okay, take care.